You're listening to WEOP AM 730, the voice of inquiry. It's time for Echoes of Persuasion with your host, Colt Thornton.
A video with charts, a blog post full of bullet points, someone standing at a whiteboard explaining the truth. Looks like research, right? Until you realize it only looks like it. Good evening. I'm Colt Thornton, and you're listening to Echoes of Persuasion. In the scroll of everyday life, we're flooded with things that feel like evidence. Numbers flash, voices sound confident, the performance is polished, the source is invisible. We live in a time when anyone can wear the lab coat of credibility. But there's a difference between doing research and performing research. So before you buy it, share it, or believe it, slow down, because the truth doesn't need a spotlight. It just needs a method. We live in a world where information doesn't just travel fast, it performs. Every headline, every video, every confident voice is competing for belief. And in that noise, credibility becomes theater. A clean graphic, a lab photo, a few scientific buzzwords. And suddenly, the performance feels like proof. But proof isn't a feeling. It's a process. That's what this episode is about. How to tell the difference before you buy it, share it, or believe it. Because real understanding doesn't come from who sounds smartest. It comes from who can show their work. The scientific method isn't locked away in laboratories or hidden behind degrees. It's a simple loop anyone can use to figure out what's true. Observe, question, hypothesize, test, analyze, conclude, repeat. That's it. A cycle designed to keep us honest. It starts with noticing something, maybe a pattern, a claim, or a surprising result. Then you turn that observation into a question, make your best guess, and put it to the test. Real science never treats a claim as sacred. Every idea stays open to challenge, open to failure, open to being proven wrong. Because the moment something can't be questioned, it stops being science and starts being belief. So the next time someone says, it's a fact, case closed. Remember, in science, a fact is just a claim that's been tested, confirmed, and could still be tested again tomorrow. That willingness to be wrong is what makes it right. Let's make it simple. A friend swears that one brand of coffee keeps them awake longer than another. They say it's just a fact. Brand X works better. End of story. But that's not a test. That's a conclusion looking for evidence. If you wanted to know for sure, you'd design a small experiment. Same person, same amount, same time of day, different brands on different days. You'd track the results. Maybe hours of alertness, maybe reaction time. Do that a few times and you'd start to see a pattern. Better still, you'd let someone else try the same test and compare notes. That's what separates a claim from a conclusion. You're not just believing the story, you're checking the story. Because in real research, the method matters more than the mouth that tells it. A real experiment isn't about doing something that looks scientific. It's about designing a test that means something, one that anyone could repeat and get the same result. It starts with a clear hypothesis, a simple, specific statement of what you expect to happen. Not this cleaner is better, but product A removes a coffee stain faster than product B under the same conditions. That difference matters. A vague claim can't be tested. A focused one can. Then come the variables. The independent variable is what you change. The dependent variable is what you measure. Everything else, temperature, timing, materials, stays the same. Those controls are what make the results mean something. Without them, you can't tell whether your outcome came from the thing you changed or from something you didn't notice at all. And finally, the procedure. If only one person can make the experiment work, it isn't science, it's stagecraft. Real testing is transparent, repeatable, and boringly reliable. That's how truth earns its credibility, not by spectacle, but by structure. The same principles that guide a laboratory apply everywhere else. You don't need a microscope or a particle accelerator to test an idea. Just a method you can explain and repeat. Historians do it when they trace a claim back to the original documents. Journalists do it when they confirm a story through multiple independent sources. Different tools, same foundation: transparency, accountability, repeatability. Those three words separate truth from theater. Because testable and repeatable isn't a slogan, it's a promise. A claim is testable when it can be proven wrong. It's repeatable when anyone, anywhere can run the same process and see if it holds up. If a result only appears under one person's control, or if the rules change when the test fails, that's not research, that's performance. Real knowledge doesn't fear repetition. It depends on it. Not every source deserves equal weight, and the fastest way to tell the strong from the shaky is to ask three questions. Who is the source? What is their motive? And how open is their process? Someone with direct experience brings a different level of credibility than someone reacting from the sidelines. A person sharing information isn't the same as someone selling a belief. Motives matter. So does transparency. If you can't see where their data came from, you can't judge the result. If they cite a recent study but never name it, never link it, never give you enough to check it, that's not evidence. That's fog. Strong sources leave footprints. Weak ones leave excuses. It's not about cynicism. It's about clarity. Because truth doesn't hide its trail. The quality of your answers depends on the quality of your questions. A loaded question can make the truth impossible to find. If you ask, why is NASA hiding the truth? You've already decided that they are. Every search, every click, every comment you find will bend toward that assumption. Even if it's wrong. That's how echo chambers are built. One bad question at a time. A good question leaves room for more than one answer. It makes space for evidence, for correction, for discovery. Instead of asking, why is NASA hiding the truth? Ask, how do we know NASA's data is accurate? That second question opens the door. It invites proof instead of paranoia. The same rule applies everywhere. In science, in history, in everyday life. A well-framed question doesn't start with certainty. It starts with curiosity. Because curiosity isn't just the path to truth. It's the guardrail that keeps belief from driving off the edge. Real research takes time. It has to. It isn't just about collecting facts. It's about sitting with them long enough to see the patterns, the contradictions, and the gaps you missed at first glance. Persuasion, on the other hand, thrives on speed. Act now. Only 24 hours left. They don't want you to see this. Urgency is not evidence. It's a tactic. The faster you react, the less time you have to verify. And that's exactly the point. You can see it everywhere. A breaking story that fills social feeds before the facts are confirmed, a viral post that disappears once the details change, a limited time offer that turns out to be permanent. The rush is deliberate. Speed keeps you from thinking too much. Slowing down is an act of resistance. When you give yourself time, even a day, you give yourself space to think, to check, to compare. Because the truth doesn't expire. If something is real, it will still be real tomorrow. And if it's not, you just saved yourself from buying into a lie. When something sounds convincing, that's when you need to slow down the most. Confidence can look like proof, even when it isn't. Before you decide something is true, run it through a quick filter. Can it be tested? Can it be proven wrong? Can you trace the source? Can someone else repeat it? If the answer to any of those is no, pause. The strongest claims welcome the test. The weakest ones demand your trust. Persuasion depends on performance. Truth depends on process. So when the message feels a little too polished, when the voice sounds a little too certain, take a breath. Because if the claim is real, it will survive your questions. In the end, the tools aren't complicated. Observe, question, test, think. That's all it takes to separate performance from proof. Truth doesn't shout, it waits, patient, steady, ready to be checked again. And the more the noise grows, the more that patience matters. Join me next time for another episode of Echoes of Persuasion. And always remember, the echoes fade, but persuasion never sleeps.